Hello, friends. Welcome back to Movie Community
Ari
College.
dos! Tanyavad for watching. Jai Ho Amitabh Bachchan. Join me. Jai Ho Amitabh Bachchan. Jai Ho Amitabh Bachchan. You're not going to join me in that.
Marinam Tish, hey, you interrupted me. So
I do that.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah. We have a movie review today.
Yes, it's a film called Cheeni Kum that we watched. And
Now
we
it's
loved.
old for everybody, but
loved
it's
Cheeni
new
Kum.
for us.
We loved it.
And we have been so busy lately that it's been a very long time since we've been able to watch a Big B film. Now, originally we were going to watch Bunty and Bobbly.
But we couldn't get it with subtitles.
We couldn't get it with subtitles. So the Hindi movie app that we have, it said that there were subtitles. And we clicked on the link and we start watching the film and there are no subtitles and there's no little icon where you can click for the subtitles.
Okay, you're burning time. Let's
so
get to the review.
We actually had to then report it as a problem. So that
Cheeni
meant we
Kum.
had to watch Cheeni Kum
Starring Amitabh Bachchan.
and Tabu.
Tabu. We've seen Tabu in
Hater
and Drishyam.
and Drishyam.
Yeah.
And this.
And this.
We think she's a very good actress.
Yes, she would be in my top 10 female actresses.
Yes, I agree.
think.
I like
Okay.
her. And Big B is the top actor of all time in any genre, in anybody's film industry.
You gonna be okay?
It's true.
You gonna be okay? You gonna make it through this review?
Yes.
Bursting with Amitabh.
Well, I was really disappointed when we weren't able to watch Bunty and Bobbly.
Now, we did a little reaction scene earlier, like a while ago, to a scene in the movie that
Yes,
we see.
yes.
With a cook who's actually putting
Sugar instead of salt in the
And
biryani.
he gets fired in the film. So
Right, but
so
he gets
this
brought
film,
back.
This film is about an Indian restaurant that's in London.
Spice Six.
Amitabh and his mother are from Delhi.
Right, and he owns the restaurant.
He owns the restaurant, and he's very demanding of his employees.
And they've been in London for over 30 years. After his father died, they moved there. And yes, he is what we would call a curmudgeon, a codger. It's not just that he is exacting of his employees. He's very cutting with his comments. And there's like one person in this film that he is super kind to all the time.
Yeah.
And she's a little next door neighbor girl named Sexy.
Sexy. He calls
She
her
was
Sexy.
so adorable.
Yeah, and she has
Blood
leukemia.
cancer. Or it could be aplastic anemia. We don't know. They just said blood cancer. So in any case,
There's one chef that he doesn't, like the head chef, that he doesn't really give a
yeah,
hard time to.
he's pretty good with him. But you see the British waiter who is struggling with
yes,
proper pronunciation on the dishes, and
There's
Amitabh
an
just
Indian
cutting him
waiter
down.
they call Colgate because his teeth are messed up.
Yes,
And
and
he
the
is
one
super
chef
funny, yes.
just cuts on him
Yeah.
all the time. There's a scene in the film with Colgate where his girlfriend is pregnant, and he's like, but I'm not sure if it's really my baby. And the other chef says, well, you know how to find out when
Just
the
look at
baby's
its
born.
teeth.
Look at its teeth.
But baby don't have teeth when they're born.
I know.
Nice try.
I know. So anyhow, so in the film,
Tabu is having lunch with a
right,
friend.
right, and she orders the Hyderabadi biryani,
And
she sends it back.
And
Big B's like-
and we see Colgate walks in with it.
Right, and Big B's like,
What are you
that's
doing?
supposed to go out.
What
That
are you
doesn't come
doing?
in. That goes out. Why is it coming
And
in?
he said they sent it
Yes.
back, and now he's furious
Right.
because 30 years nobody's
Right,
ever
nobody
sent
sends
anything
food back. So
Anything
he
back.
takes it back out there, and he's
Yes.
grilling her.
Yes, about you know how to make this?
Right.
Well, you want to come in and teach us, maybe?
Right. And she's getting really upset by
yeah.
this, and her friend's like, let's go. So they leave.
She
but,
called him a psycho.
Right, her friend did.
Yeah.
And so they leave. Unbeknownst to Big B, though, she has taken his words to heart, and she's taken up the challenge. He threw down the gauntlet. She took it up. And so she decides that she's going to cook the biryani, and she's going to bring it to the restaurant.
Yes.
And so Colgate comes through the doors again, holding the bowl of biryani, and Big B again is like, okay, he's irritated. So he takes a bite of it this time. And he's describing in particular detail every ingredient and how much of it. And then he realizes, because he goes out there and she's there, She made it.
Yeah, she
that
made
didn't
it.
come from his kitchen. She made it. So they start developing a little relationship, and
friendship.
she's coming in every day basically, and he allows her to borrow his umbrella.
Yes.
And so he knows as long as she has the umbrella, he's going to be able to see her.
Yes, and a mutual crush is developing.
Right. The problem is, of course, she's 34 and he's 64.
Yes. And so they go on a couple dates, and there's a couple mishaps that happen on the date.
Right.
Amitabh is getting very, his feelings hurt very easily.
Yes.
We see a scene with a guy named Jason,
who's the boyfriend of the roommate.
and she's just trying to you're going to lose this woman.
Right.
This is what you need to do. Stop being an idiot.
Right.
And
But Big B thinks she's on a date with him.
And I think Tabu's character enjoys the fact that he's getting bothered so easily because it's a lot of attention and whatnot.
But he starts becoming nicer to his staff.
Yes,
he's being nicer to his staff, and they're like, what is going on?
Yes.
And he's being nice to his mom. Like, normally he comes home and he's so critical of her cooking and her food.
Yes.
Mom is hilarious.
Yes, mom is funny. And he makes some joke about, this is like prison food.
Mom loves WWE wrestling.
Yes,
and so
she does.
She's watching Brock Lesnar on TV.
She loves the wrestling.
And she's always telling Big B how he needs to go to the gym.
Yes.
And so one day he comes in and he's got his Nike bag and he had gone to the gym and he's all kind of footloose and fancy free, and he hops down on the couch and she's like, Mom knows something's up. Moms always know. They know with their boys when something's up, no matter how old they are. And so she knows something's up, and even Sexy knows something's up because he's acting differently. Sexy is dying, and she knows she's dying. And all she wants to do is watch rated R films.
Yes.
She wants to watch films that she's not allowed to watch, and Big B keeps promising.
She wants to see what grown-ups do.
Right.
What is.
So he keeps promising her he's going to get her these DVDs, but now he's getting interested in Tabu, and so he keeps forgetting. And so he'll tell her, tomorrow. And so she calls him one day, and there's this hilarious scene where she's like, talk to me about it today. And he's like, tomorrow. And she's like, today. And he's like, tomorrow. And it was so cute because this little girl is like his equal. And their interaction is so, so sweet. I just love it. So anyhow, you guys have all seen the film. You know everything that happens.
Yeah, she was a great character.
She was a great character.
There was a funny scene that came to mind as their relationship is progressing. That's Tabu.
Yes.
And Amitabh.
She tells him to run and touch the tree in the park.
And he's like, what? And she's like, and I told you.
You knew exactly why.
She wants to make sure he doesn't die during sex.
Right.
And so he runs and he makes it there. And
right.
she was like, okay, good. I guess this could advance further. And
right.
Like,
well, because he had held her hand.
Yes.
And she's like, I figured you grabbed my hand, and so now I know you have stamina for other things. And he's like, other things? What other things?
Yeah.
And so then there's a little series of events where he's trying to move on to other things, and she's like, no. And then he realizes, well, we need to be married. Yeah. And so he gives her basically his philosophy, which is, you know what, you basically need to sell yourself for sex, which means you need to be married, and I need to be married, and this is my bitter philosophy, and if you're okay with this, will you marry me? And she says
again,
yes.
And there's a lot of fighting, and there are many times during the film I just want to say, Amitabh, stop being a jerk.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to lose her. You're going to lose her. Stop it.
I love the scene in the kitchen where it's his birthday, and so they put 64 candles on, but he knows she's coming, and he takes like 6 of them off.
because he wants to be in his 50s.
Yes, but there's holes where the candles were, like she can't count them.
So they have this back and forth, and she says, you need to ask my father to marry
And he's
me.
like, well, you need to talk to my mom. She's
Yes,
like, okay.
yes, dude.
Well, mom is super excited.
Yes, mom's super excited.
So this isn't a problem. And he's like, well, she's like, then you need to talk to my dad in Delhi. He's like, okay. And so as they're planning the trip, Sexy goes into the hospital.
Yes.
And so he's like, well, I need to go see her. And his mind is like singularly focused on Sexy. And Tabu is trying to tell him, my dad is in the hospital too. I need to go back to Delhi. And so finally he's like, okay, you go back to Delhi. And so she does. Well, her dad's okay. Turns out he's got diabetes, and he's maybe not taking the greatest care of himself. And so that's why he's in the hospital. So she goes to Delhi. Big B joins her in Delhi.
So
and
we
Dad.
saw in the trailer reaction that we just did, that you guys can see on the film, that restroom scene was pretty funny because every time that he goes there, because he's trying to say, I want to marry your daughter.
Right.
The guy hijacks the conversation like your father and will not give it back. And
That's
he's talking
true.
about everything.
Yeah, but you know how to get it back from my dad.
It's years of practice.
Yes.
Amitabh doesn't have that time.
That's true.
And
he's 64.
And so they go into the restroom. He just says, I want to marry your daughter.
Right.
Because he just assumes this is a friend of hers that she's brought
Right,
to Delhi.
right. Dad doesn't even
and
realize.
He's like, hey, let's hang out with my and Dad's younger. Dad's 58. Amitabh's 64. Dad is I'm guessing a retired politician.
He kind of looks like how he's dressed and
copying the Gandhi
and
glasses.
he's got everything Gandhi in his home, and so he just constantly wants to talk about different
Cricket,
things,
yeah.
and how Test cricket is the best. We get that reference now, and he's like 5 glorious days, and so basically he hates T20. He likes Test cricket.
Not a big IPL fan. Huh?
And Big B lives in London, and he's like, oh my gosh, that's like the mecca of cricket, and so, but Big B knows next to nothing about cricket, and so he's lost in this conversation.
So as he's trying to win the hand from the father says no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No
and he goes
way.
on a Gandhi-styled
Hunger strike.
Yes.
Which is hilarious.
Now there's infighting between Tabu and Amitabh on what to do, and he finally gets it resolved by confronting them on the, I don't know what you want to call it, the starvation bed that he's on.
Yes,
and he confronts him, gives him some hard truths, and then he goes down to the...
And Mom is in Delhi at this point now.
At the
Ashoka pillar.
Yes, and he actually gets his arms around it.
Because Mom helps him. Yeah. Mom comes over and links his hands. And so right at the moment that he basically, makes his wish, Tabu's dad gives her consent.
But Sexy
dies. And it was so sad. And Big B's crying, and Mom is crying, and Tabu then comes upon this scene. But all is well, and so he gets to marry her. In the end, he gets the girl.
Yeah, and the film ends with them in
at the
London,
restaurant.
And the dad does not look happy to be there until he
and
brings
Dad
up
is upset, too, because Big B's a vegetarian.
Yes.
Whereas Dad and Tabu are not. And so Tabu calls Big B Mr. Greens, and he calls her leg kebab.
Yes.
And so, yes,
what do you think leg kebab's about? She's got nice legs. What do you think that is?
And also she likes meat. And so they're sitting in the restaurant, and Big B is sitting next to Tabu, and then Big B's mom is across from Tabu, and then Tabu's dad is across from Big B, and they're all having lunch. And Dad doesn't look pleased. But then Big B mentions that he's got 2 tickets to this Test cricket match at Lord's, and Dad is like, whoa. He kind of perks up then. He's like, so can I go with you?
Yeah, sure.
He's like, yeah, okay. Sure. And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
I loved this film.
Yeah,
I thought
film.
It was so funny. So many people over the past year have been asking us to watch this film. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was sweet. Again, there's nobody who acts like Big B. His eyes just carry you. They capture you. He can be a tough guy. He can be sweet. He can be funny. He can be critical. There's nothing he can't do well. And the pairing of Tabu with him, and then Little Sexy, his mom, the father-in-law, they were all just incredible characters.
It was good casting.
And Colgate,
Colgate was
everybody.
A great character.
This was, I loved it.
He was a great character. Great character, great film. Bollywood Top 100, easy.
Oh,
easy to put
I
that
loved
in there.
it. So this is an A. It gets an A.
A+, A+. Very good. Thank you so much for watching. Tanyavad, please like and subscribe. Elvita and Pierre Malinghi.
And hit the bell.
Hit the bell, yes.
Bye.
Bye.